The Pendulum Power, Using Energy to Heal and Balance class. If I could get this bad boy to full screen the way I know it could do. Oh, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Boom. Here we go. All right. It's my mama in the background. Here's a video. I just want to give y'all a quick introduction of an energetic healing of inoperable bladder cancer in China. Now, the one thing I can say about Chinese medicine is it does incorporate their indigenous techniques, the techniques that they learned from their ancestors, to heal things using energy, using the power of intention. Okay, so that is essentially along the same thread, the same wavelength as pendulum healing. Okay, so here's the video. You can see they'll show you where the cancer is and how they're moving their hands and chanting simultaneously together, using Western technology, but using ancient methods to heal the cancer.
韩国下月初的昨天有和一个烟壶，这么一个法器，跟这边是这么一块钱的那法器。
Okay, just as an example of how energetic healing, the possibilities and potential for energetic healing modalities. Okay, so indigenous and African pendulum uses. The pendulum was used as a tool of measurement for both time and distance during the construction of the pyramids of Kemet. Okay, they would swing the pendulum because the pendulum swings on an exact rhythm. Okay, that's the same technology that musicians use with their I forget what it's called. I think it starts with the metronome, with the metronome. Um, and even though it's mechanical, it still has perfect rhythm. Okay. Rod and staff energy technology was used in ancient Wiradjuri, or what the colonizers called New Holland, and then later Australia, to locate underground water, to migrate families and clans, okay, to areas that were plentiful and abundant with water. Descendants of enslaved Africans from Sierra Leone living in South Carolina, what we call the Gullah people or the Geechee people, okay? They refer to a device described as a bob and a string used for divination purposes as a nubi. The nubi was used to predict and therefore manipulate the future, okay? Once you know what's going to happen, you can move things around to change outcomes, okay? Using the pendulum to address dis-ease, okay, depending on what you have going on, all right? the first thing you want to do, you always want to go get a physical or mental examination from a qualified medical professional to see what your body wants to reveal to you. Okay? You go to your doctor to receive your diagnosis. All right? Um, you want to regularly speak healing over your mind, body, your spirit, your mitochondria, your blood, your water, your bones, every single part of yourself, calling down all your ancestors and spirit guides to work with you in your healing process. Before you even begin, you have to believe that you're able to speak life and healing into yourself. Okay. Um, Develop a chant of sound that comes from your pit, your diaphragm, the brain that is your stomach. Okay. Um, it will reveal to you what your chant is. You just have to be still, quiet, practice, do what feels right, and it will be born out of the practice of doing what feels right. It has to be born of your tears. Okay, if you haven't cried for your healing, it may be harder to initiate the process. Okay. Um, Crying is cathartic. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of just not being in control. It's just a way to release the illusion of control, a way to release so that you can reveal what the truth is underneath the tears, okay? Remember that healing is not linear. It is cyclical in nature, and steps have to be restarted on repeat until the new program is accepted by your body. What I did not include in here, which is also a very important part of healing, is what you feed your body physically as well. Yes, what you watch, what you're reading, what you're ingesting, in every sense of the word, ingesting. But what you eat is going to be very important, a really important part of the healing process. Eat living foods, whole foods, things that still have moving, living, breathing cells. Okay, your raw fruits and veggies. Get a juicer, get a blender, and get comfortable with getting a lot of your water right now from those things. Metaphysical root causes of various disease. Mental or brain disease. Eurocentric based processes for diagnoses don't take into account that our blood and water carry imprints passed down from our great grandmothers and their mothers and all the great mothers past. And these imprints don't leave us until we confront them and amend them. Okay? Any scientist will tell you that your genes have codes in them in the same way that computer programs and computers have codes in them that make them operate the ways that they do. And if your computer is not programmed to do a certain thing, it will not be able to do that thing. So if you have not programmed your cells to heal, it will be harder to do that. So if our great grandmothers and mothers passed down to us or did not pass down to us that ability, right? Or they didn't pass down to us that knowledge, it's going to be more difficult, but we can always reprogram our own internal systems to do what we need them to do, okay? Heart, breast, and womb / uterine disease, all of the things that are generally regarded as the parts of a woman, okay, a biological female, okay. From a metaphysical standpoint, things related to ovarian cancers, breast cancers, because all of these systems are linked together. The hormones that run through them are, created to do the same things in the bodies of women to varying degrees. Okay, the things that blow or throw these systems out of whack, aside from, the things that you eat, include heartbreak, violation of trust. This is from birth all the way up to this moment. Heartbreak, violation of trust, not feeling a sense of security, creative suppression, all of those things open. Also, the not acknowledging our rage, not acknowledging the ways that we've been violated, but being forced to gloss over them. Okay, this opens up those parts of our bodies to disease. As above, so below, as within, so without. Okay, the proliferation of cancer cells has a lot to do with not healing the violations that we were given from childhood up into adulthood. Thyroid or throat disease, okay? Being silenced, not speaking your truth, fear, self doubt, not exercising the I don't give a fuck muscle, or an overactive I don't give a fuck muscle. Okay, words not rooted in love and intentions not rooted in love can cause you to have serious throat and thyroid issues. Let me make a disclaimer. This is not an oversimplification of these issues. This is just an explanation that describes the roots of a lot of these issues. So it might not even be your words not rooted in love or your intentions not rooted in love. It could be what was given to you from your mother or your father or your grandmother or people who were tasked to take care of you and treat you with care, and they did not. Okay, and you were not able to voice your discontentment or hurt or pain over these things. A lot to do with silence. Okay, legs and feet, disease of the feet and legs, have a lot to do with direction. Okay, moving too far away from your destiny, desires, and joy, being stuck on a hamster's wheel of unhappiness or unfulfillment. Okay, I know a sister, I have a close sister friend who was experiencing blood clots in her legs. And she was also in a very emotionally abusive marriage. Okay. She was not moving in the direction of her joy. She wasn't moving in the direction of her destiny, but she was moving in the steps that her partner wanted her to take. Okay, so that he could feel powerful, so that they could feel important and have their ego massaged in the relationship. So, as one example, because it's not just always rooted in a relationship, direction and movement is totally personal to all of us. So, if we're allowing others or factors to interfere with that movement, then if you have leg or feet issues, see if that might be the issue. Because if it is, now it's time to figure out how to move in your own way. Mid and lower back disease, okay, back pain from top to bottom, shoulder pain, neck pain, has a lot to do with being weighed too heavily by responsibility. This life, the way we live it right now, it's a lot. But if it's if those parts are being burdened, it's time to take a rest and delegate some responsibilities. Okay, seek either assistance or a good chiropractor to relieve some lumbar pressure. Excuse me. Right now, we're currently in a phase where we're all being grounded, and addressing these issues and healing these issues is going to become a whole lot easier because we won't have the same pressures that capitalism places on us. For those of us who have pressure from capitalism, because all of us do not. Victims of circumstance or co-creator with God, in quotes, okay? The human polarity diagram is on the left and the Earth's polarity diagram is on the right. We are a direct reflection of this planet that we live on. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. The flow is exactly the same, okay? And if the flow of either is off, then it throws everything off balance, okay? If our poles are not in, and everybody's polarity is not balanced in the same way, okay? Our collective polarity, though, needs to be in a balance, and that only comes through true acceptance and a positive flow of energy, or a balance of the positive and negative flow of energy. And right now we have a complete imbalance, and either the earth is reflecting us or we are reflecting the earth, or it's a combination of the two. In either case, there is a complete imbalance going on. And that's why right now pendulum science is so important to learn. Okay, rooting self before using the pendulum. In order for you to receive accurate answers from your pendulum, you have to clear out the blockages inside your body and around your field. Okay, some of the ways that you can do that include dancing. Okay, you can twerk, you can sway your hips to release the tension throughout the whole body. Squat very low, get very low, just like Yin Yang Twins told us. Okay, and shake your butt cheeks super hard. All right, it sends the and this is an older presentation. I don't really use terminology like the Kundalini. I don't really use a lot of Eastern medicine terminologies. I try to stick to my culture for the most part, to stay away from the popular. You know how it goes. In the 80s, the big thing was ancient Chinese medicine. Everybody was doing qigong. Everybody was, learning about ginkgo biloba and whatnot. And right now, the big or popular spirit science is Hinduism, right? So we're using terminologies related to chakras and kundalini and, et cetera, et cetera. But I try to steer clear of that personally for me. But you know what I mean when I say kundalini. It is the energy that stretches from your base of your spine all the way to your crown. Okay. It sends that energy flowing from the top to the bottom, back down again, back up again. It's just an open flow. All right. Dambala Wado is pleased. That's our supreme deity in Vodun. Okay. Sticking your feet, butt, or head directly onto the earth, or grounding. Okay. You can take a blanket out to the park or your backyard or anywhere there's not a whole bunch of dog poop laying around. Lay your blanket out and sit down. You got your skirt or your pants on, sit down and just feel the flow of the energy being pulled from your body into the earth, back up and down through your crown, just cycling through your feet and legs and arms and spine. Okay. Electrofrequency tapping, or EFT, tapping on some of the points of power on the body to release any blockages in the body's spiritual veins or meridians to get chi or life force back flowing properly and freely through your body. Okay. So at that point, we would have done a EFT tapping exercise from toe to head. Okay. So when we come back next Saturday for question and answer session, we will do just that. Okay. Specificity is key. Protocol, framing your protocol statements. Protocol, the Dowsing protocol is a series of statements that we create to address our specific issues. Okay. Now, when I was learning Dowsing, there was a white man named Raymond Grace who had taken his protocol system and adapted it from a friend of his who also had a protocol system. Their statements were they were good statements, but some of them were, you could tell that these are people that grew up in the 50s because they were talking about things that were important to that time, especially for Europeans. I'll find the statements and I will go over them with you, but I created my own protocol statements to address our specific issues as Black women in America. Okay? So, when you're framing your own protocol statements, if you take something away, okay, if you say, please remove the spirit of manipulation from my body, that's something that you've taken away, right? You want to put something beneficial in its space. Okay? So, going with that example, if you say, please remove the spirit of manipulation from my body and replace it with pure love, replace it with balance, replace it with joy, replace it with divine alignment. You can say what you want that empty space to be replaced with, because if you don't fill the empty spaces, they will get filled with whatever comes back up. Okay? Make sure you know exactly what your health issues are and the root causes of them. Okay? Without understanding the root of the issue, it will be hard to address and heal it. Okay? Because you can't move forward with chains on you that are rooted all the way back into your childhood. Okay? So really sit with yourself and see, based on what we went over a few slides ago about the root causes of these issues, see how they might have been built up over time from those roots. Okay? So this is the meridian tapping exercise that we would have done. On the left, you have a example or a diagram of where the meridians are in the body. Okay? So what you do with the tapping is you start between your big toe and your second toe, where the pad is of your foot, and you tap with your fingertips right there. And then you move up to just above the ankle and tap for a few seconds. Then you come up to just below the knee. Then you move to your inner thigh just above the knee. And then you stand fully up and you tap your upper butt cheeks where the bladder meridian would be. Okay? And you hold your fist and you tap with the soft parts of your fist, the front part of your fist, not the actual part where you punch people, but the flat part where your wrist and fingers meet. Okay? And when you make a fist, you tap the upper butt cheeks. Then you move up to the lower back near your kidneys. Okay? Then you tap the top of your shoulders. You stretch your arms out in front of you and you tap your shoulders. All right? You tap one shoulder, then you work your way down to the crease of your elbow, and then you come all the way down between your thumb and the wrist. And then you switch sides. You tap the top of your shoulder, work your way down to your inner elbow, and then come down to between your thumb and your wrist. You spread your fingers out when you're done with that, and you tap the back of your head. Work your way up to the top of your head. Then you take your fingertips and you spread them around your ears and you tap around your ears. Okay? And then you wash your face with your hands, rub your stomach with your hands, and then you shake it off. You shake off all the blockages, right? Just shake, shake, shake. All right? We'll do that next Saturday. What I have here is an example of a pendulum chart. Okay, I have my own chart, which I'll share with y'all in a minute, but I just wanted to tell you, say you were asking for the people associated with the root of your issue, if you needed confirmation, if you were abused or molested or had a sexual experience with a peer as a child, you can use this chart to, and if you haven't acknowledged it, or you say I'm over that, or that's not something that bothers me anymore, right? Which, it may not be, but you can use a chart like this to assess whether or not that's true. Okay? So here's another chart, very detailed, very things that you want to enhance in your body. You can say, where do I need to work? What work do I need to do to assess what's going on in my body? And, you spin that, let that pendulum spin, and it will swing to exactly where your issues are coming from or the things that you need to instill in yourself. Using this chart as an example, okay? So, that's, hold on 1 second. Here we go. Okay. No, boss. Pardon me. Is this the one? No. That's one, but that ain't it. Y'all don't fight me. Nope. This ain't it either, boss. Yeah, this is it. So, but that's not the one I need either. Boom, here we go, boss. I knew it was gonna come up sooner or later. All right, so this is the protocol that I will be uploading into the group. Okay, I just wanted to go over the statements with you and explain to you how it works and what you can do between now and this week coming up. Okay, this Saturday coming. Let me check that date. It's gonna be Saturday the 28th. We will get together in the group live. Okay, I'll say maybe 2 p.m. while my children are laying down for naps, and I'll have free time to talk with everybody. I'm going to answer questions about this particular, any questions that you have, but I really want y'all to focus in this week on these protocol statements, okay? So you can kind of get an idea of how to craft your protocol statements for yourself. Okay, so I hold my pendulum over my chart. Let me show you my chart. There it is. I'll upload this too, so please print this off as soon as you can. Clearly not this fluky shit, whatever this is. Hold on. Not yet. It's not in here. Hold on. Here it is. Okay. This is the dowsing chart. Okay. And the way it's set up, it has 4 quadrants. Okay. I have used this to assess people and situations and medicine and food. Okay. You hold your pendulum right at, you lay the chart flat on the table and you hold your pendulum over the center. And you ask your question and you ask for frequency measurements, and it will spin and it will show you what the frequency is of whatever it is you're dealing with, whether it is in divine order, is it in the healing sector, is it a disease, is it diseased, or is it dangerous? Okay. 1 through 9 representing divine order, 10 through 18 representing healing, 19 through 27 representing disease, and no to yes representing danger. Or really yes to no representing danger. Okay. Yes, starting with the -1, -2, all the way down to -8, and increasing degrees of danger. Okay. So when you hold your pendulum over this chart, it may give you different readings. You might be swinging all over the place. Pay attention to how your pendulum is swinging. It might not be giving you a no or a yes. It could be reading the frequency of whatever question you're asking. Okay? So I start off with the statement, gratitude to my ancestors for their guidance and protection. I seek their presence in this space and send all non-beneficial energies and entities away. Once I make that statement, I wait for my pendulum to swing to yes. Okay, after every statement, I wait for the pendulum to swing to yes. And when it swings to yes, I say thank you. or I say gratitude, or I express some appreciation for the energy revealing itself to me. Okay? We are all connected. Not only are we all connected, but we're connected to this planet. The energy, the electric frequencies that run through us run through everything. Every tree, every plant, every bee, every ant, everything. Okay, so the reason why we're able to get accuracy during readings is because we have balance and communion with the energy that exists in all things. If you are not connected to the energy that exists in all things, your readings will not be accurate. That's why it's important to clear out your blockages before you start doing divination. Okay. The very next statement, I call and activate all my power and memory back to me that has been passed down from all my great mothers past, calling forth their healing as I heal myself. You let your pendulum swing, and you wait for it to swing to yes. I welcome the unlocking of ancestral memory stored in my blood, genes, and DNA. Allow your pendulum to swing and wait for it to swing to yes. If it's not swinging, if there's no clarity, get up, okay? Put your pendulum down, take a walk around the house, do some jumping jacks, shake around a little bit, pick your pendulum up, hold it to your chest, sit back down, and try again. If it still doesn't work, say make it clear, make it clear, make it clear, okay? 3, I welcome with open arms the balance and weightlessness that comes from releasing the pain of my hurtful experiences. I release all of it and invite pure love and clear awareness to fill the space. And wait for it to swing to yes. Okay, you're going to go through all of these statements. There are 22 statements in total. And then at the end, the last 2 pages I have terms and other instructions for using the pendulum, okay? Before you use your pendulum to clear others, you have to make sure that what you're doing is the right thing to do. Even if you think it's the right thing to do, the efforts that you put in, the energy that you spend could amount to absolutely nothing if this person's higher self has already deemed that they are not prepared to do or clear whatever it is you're trying to clear them from. So you ask the first question, and this is the order that you ask the questions in. Do I have permission? As in, would this person's Ori or highest self or highest mind, do they permit me to do this? Okay. Then you ask, do I have the ability? That question is directly related to your own power. Have I developed my power and influence and energy enough to be able to help clear this person? If the first one is no, you don't even have to ask the next 2 questions. If you don't have permission, there's no need to even worry if you have the ability or if it's the right time, because their Ori or their higher self already told you no, don't bother with it. Okay? If you have the ability and permission, find out if it's the right time. Is it the right time? Because if the timing is not right, and you might need to check back in a few months, what you do still may not amount to much. Okay. General frequency information. 0.5 is the perfect human frequency. Okay, that is if you are a Dowsing and you want to be brought into balance and alignment with the perfect human frequency, you hold your pendulum up and you say, please bring me into balance with the perfect human frequency. And it should swing between the yes and the positive 1. That's where 0.5 would be, okay? And you say, bring me into balance with the perfect or the prosperity frequency for humans, it should swing to 8. And if you say, bring my business into the frequency of prosperity, bring my job or my work or my paycheck into the frequency of prosperity, it should swing to 7, okay? 18 to 26 is a disease state. And I discovered this during a class, during my second pendulum class I ever did, about 2 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago. This is way before I got pregnant with my son. And there was a woman who was in my class, and she was dealing with some issues with her parents. She wanted to open up communication with them, but her pendulum just would not swing to yes. And we discovered that based on the feeling that she had, the more she doused for it, the less angry she felt. And we continued to douse and kept on dousing, kept on dousing. And she moved from the disease state where she was feeling so fucked up about it. The better she started feeling about it, it started moving into where we see the healing quadrant. All right. And I continued to do it for people that I knew had diseases, that they had, cancers, or they had been dealing with strokes. And I was able to glean that, here is where the diseases are. Here is where the healing takes place, the frequency where healing takes place. Okay. So the danger zone, a negative -0.5 is a diseased heart space. Okay. That is a person who they've been through a lot and they are manifesting their trauma through control and manipulation. Okay. A -1 is a manifestation of dishonesty and deceit. So not only will they manipulate you and control you, but they will lie to you in order to do so. Okay? They will deceive you in order to gain control and power over you or a situation. A -1.5 is a manifestation of those with a dependent habit, someone who is addicted to drugs or alcohol. I was on a line at the grocery store one day, and I was standing, at the cash register checking out, and it was just me and Pasha, me and my daughter, and this man behind us, he kept giving me the Jeeves. So I pulled Pasha up in front of me, because you know how you have the car behind you and your child is in the child seat and you checking out or whatever. So I pulled her in front of me, and this man got close enough to me to where I could feel him a whole lot stronger. And I didn't keep glancing. You know how you give people a couple of glances and you make your observations and you keep it moving. So I made my observations. I'm like, okay, he looks pretty decently put together. He has like his this silver cross around his neck, and his shirt looks ironed and it's tucked in, it's plaid, and his jeans look fitted, and he's wearing boots. It was a brother, bald headed, leather jacket. Just, he ain't look bad, didn't look dirty, looked pretty clean. And I just felt really gross, like disgusted. And I don't feel like that about everybody. This was the first time I had a feeling that strong about him, and I noticed that he had a big case of I probably should have waited till the end to tell the story, because he registered at a -3, I believe it was. I know it was a -2 going towards a 3, but he had a big case of Ice House beer, like the cans of beer. And that's all he had, just beer. And I mean, people buy beer. I go to the grocery store, I might get a case of Heineken or whatever the fuck. So, that's not a dead giveaway, but I'm feeling it. So I went home and I got my pendulum out and I got my chart out, and I registered him on the in the danger zone. Okay, so these are important things. If you do not trust your intuition, or you can't feel it fully, or you don't know what your discernment is telling you, the pendulum is going to be a really important tool to help you confirm what you already felt, so you can start to trust it more. Okay. -3, serial killer or rapist. -4 is a pedophile. -5 to -8 is one who has resolved themselves to inflicting harm on others at any opportunity presented to do so. Okay, terms within the protocol. Symbiotic means mutually beneficial relationship between people or groups. Forgiveness, to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. Most of the forgiveness that I talk about in this chart, matter of fact, all of the forgiveness that I talk about in this chart is for ourselves, my own self. I forgive myself. I don't want to feel angry or resentful towards myself for the ways that I have offended myself, the ways that I have not voiced my boundaries out loud so that other people in my life cannot cross them. Okay? A parasite is an organism that lives in or on another, which would be us, and takes away beneficial things from its host and gives nothing in return. There are no nutrients being shared, no energy being shared. They're just taking from me and draining the life force out of me. Okay? And that is in the spiritual as well as the physical. Entities and energies and beings that we come in contact with. Water memory, the ability of water to retain, the spiritual structure of something that it has interacted with. Okay, there was a doctor. What was his name? He came up with these healing waters where he would put a small amount of an elixir or an extract into the water, and he would take a piece of that water out and put it into a bigger section of water, and then take a little bit of that water out and put it in a bigger section of water, to the point where there was no essence left of that particular healing component, that flower or that herb, but the energy was still there, because the water retained the memory of that herb, even in the smallest of amounts. Okay, what was his name? It was a German scientist. I'm gonna think of his name in a minute. It's gonna come to me. If I wasn't doing this recording, I would be able to tell you right off the bat. And the heart space. Okay, there's a new branch of science, well, in the past 10 years, out called neurocardiopathy. Okay, and it connects the brain heart, uh, the connection between the brain and the heart, how there are neurons or neurological neuron connections in the heart in the same way that they exist in the brain. They also exist in the gut. Okay, that whole go with your gut, all that's, you have neurons in your brain, your heart, and your gut. These are the three brains in the body. Okay, so when you have your heart broken, or you learn new things about love and connection with others, those are neurological synapses, like firing off in your heart, literally. Okay? So those are the parts of us that we also want to address, not just the way we think, but the way we feel, and how that is a scientific part of who we are. Okay? So go back to the top and do every statement. Allow your pendulum to swing and wait until it goes to yes, okay, before you move on to the next statement. And at the end, your assignment is to sit with yourself and address these issues, okay, that we discussed all the way up here. Excuse me. Okay, mental or brain disease. Okay, diagnoses that don't take our blood and water into account, but we know the things that were passed down to us by our mothers and the things that were passed down to us by our fathers. These traumas and pains that we might not have dealt with, and no doctor would tell us that anything is wrong with us because of it, and nothing is wrong with us because of it, but it's still something that we need to address, right? Heartbreak, violation of trust, not feeling secure, feeling like your creativity has been suppressed. The ways that you want to overcome that is to, number one, acknowledge that it happened and start to do things to heal, right? By creating your protocol statements based on addressing those things. Asking that the stone be pulled out of your heart and replaced with a soft space for you to land on when you think about these things. Okay? We don't want to land on hard places when we remember these things. We want to land on soft, supple, nourishing places when we think about those things. The things that give us that pain and make us feel hardened, we want to ask that the hardness be taken from us and replaced with soft, supple energy, a blanket of sorts. Okay? And so on. Address these different things. If you have leg or issues with your feet, see what direction you're going in any area, and where you might be moving that's not in accordance to your destiny. Okay? Have you been silent? Have you not been speaking your truth? Right? Do you have too much on your plate? Is there too much on your back? And if there is, how can you relieve yourself of that pressure? Okay, so that's the assignment. Do these protocol statements, 1 through 22. Ask about the people in your life that you're not too sure of. See if it's, do you have permission from their Ori or their highest minds to clear them? I have been asking for the past 6 years if I could clear my aunt of her drug addiction, and now might be the right time. So I'm going to use my pendulum and see if I have the permission and if I have the ability and if it's the right time. I got permission and ability. Yes, it's for those. But the right time, I kept getting no, 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 no. So I'm going to see if now is the right time. And I'll let y'all know next Saturday when we get together. Thank you so much for listening to this class. I hope you got something beneficial out of it. I love y'all. And I will see y'all next Saturday. Peace.